Hey everybody, I'm Scott Weichel. You're listening to My Kind of Country on mkocradio.com. You have heard me playing some of this gentleman's songs quite a bit on our show, and it's because I really like his music. I like what he believes in. He stands for real country music. He's a fantastic singer and songwriter. He's a U.S. Navy veteran. He's open for some great country music acts, including Bobby Bare and Leona Williams. And I'll tell you what, he's got some fantastic dates scheduled down in Texas and Oklahoma. And he's a Texas boy, and he's here to visit with us tonight. This is Brandon Bamburg. Brandon, how are you tonight?
Doing just fine, Mr. Winkle. I'm doing real good here.
Well, it's good to
And
talk with you, man. I appreciate you taking time to come on the show, and I really do appreciate you sending me your songs. I feel very privileged that you thought enough of me to send those so I could hear them.
yes, sir, absolutely. Yeah, I've been watching your program for quite a while, and it's a real honor to be here. And I've been listening. I listen just about every day to about Merle Haggard's podcast that you had of him. He's always been my biggest music hero, and along with Leona Williams and Bobby Bare. So it's definitely an honor to be here talking with you.
That's great. Leona Williams is such a sweetheart. I got to spend some time with her last March down in Nashville, and she is one of the most genuine and nice people I think I've ever met. She's such a nice lady.
If God ever put an angel on this earth, it's definitely Leona. That's for sure. So
That is for sure. And I know you've done quite a bit of work with her as well.
I've done one show with her, and but we've been talking back and forth over Facebook and for quite a while. And it's like when we met for the first time, we did a show in Maytag Opry up at Ashdown, Arkansas, a few weeks back. And when I met her, it was like lifelong friends, getting together. She connects well with people, and it's just a sweet person.
She sure does. I know she thinks the world of you too. We've had a conversation about you and your music, and I know she's really got an eye on what you're doing. So you got good people in your corner.
Oh, bless her heart.
And not to mention, I'll tell you, every time I play one of your songs, I have all these great messages, and people contact us through the website. They're listening. You got a great support group out there that really love you and what you're doing with your music.
So that's great. That means a lot.
Well, I want to go back a little bit. Give me a little bit of your background. I know you were in the Navy, and tell me a little bit about that, and tell me about your getting into music and songwriting.
Well, starting out back in my childhood days, the music has really been a part of my life big time. My older brother was more into the rock and roll music, and growing up, he was in a Kiss tribute band. He was a real big Kiss fan, back in the 80s and early 90s, and they did the whole makeup and all that stuff and platform boots. And my mother, she was kind of their manager back then, and she'd get them shows at like little bowling alleys and whatnot. So growing up in a household, there was always a guitar, and every time my brother and I would meet up, we'd always kind of jam around, whatever, type of music he liked, a lot of the rock and roll stuff. But country music was around a lot in my house as well. But my grandmother, she was a real big Jim Reeves fan, and she always loved the song "He'll Have to Go," and that was my grandma's and grandpa's favorite song that they both loved. And back in the day when they had the Louisiana Hayride with I forgot who some of the artists were, but she was just a real big country music fan. Loved Hank Williams and Ernest Tubb, all those guys. And I was introduced to them at a very early age, and I loved the music. And as I got older and started to mature, I really started doing some research of my own and trying to figure out who these guys were, because I developed interest in it. And like a lot of other kids, when they hear just the stuff on the radio, it just sounds in the background to them, and that's kind of the problem that we're in nowadays with the music. But as I was doing research, I came across, Merle Haggard and George Jones and Conway Twitty, and I fell in love with their music. It was I was going through some hard times with my life, and their music really uplifted me, and just I didn't really realize at the time that I was wanting to really pursue a music career, and I was getting ready to graduate from high school and getting ready to go off in the military, and that was kind of what I had sights on, was making a career in the Navy. And while I was in, I was really developing more and more of an interest in music because it really helped pass the time. When you're out at sea for long periods of time, you try to find stuff to do in your off time, and for me, it was playing the guitar. And I didn't really start songwriting until about really a couple of years ago, and I started to draw experiences from my life, and wanted to, start doing shows, and kind of just played everywhere I could, in nursing homes and little operas and stuff like that. And sometimes I'd just sit up in the middle of town and open up the guitar case, and I'd be a busker, just trying to get a little bit of cash to to get on to the next gig and stuff like that. And fortunately, I've been able to come across some very great people in the music field, and like Leona Williams and Bobby Bear and Marty Haggard and Noel and Ben, and all those guys have been real nice people, and and that's the thing with country music, is there are people there, just everybody's so nice and welcoming to you.
Yes, sir.
So that's really kind of how I've really been trying to get into music, is just playing everywhere I can, and anywhere I can, just to try to get my name out there. And I've got this album that I've been trying to work on and raise up enough money to get all the stuff put together on it, and I think hopefully it'll be a good success.
Well, judging from the songs that I've heard so far, I think it's going to be a tremendous success. And I think one thing that sets an artist apart and gives them longevity in the business from a lot of the people that just kind of come and go are people that are writing their own material, and they're writing good material. And I really commend you for the songs you've written. It's a very unique thing to be a songwriter and be a good songwriter. And I think you've done an extremely good job with some of the songs that you've sent me.
Well, thank you so much. And that kind of brings me around to to a point. I was watching the video that you'd actually posted on Facebook of George Jones talking about really the problem with country music nowadays is that it's definitely steered away from its roots, and the possum made a real good point about that with the big people in Nashville nowadays, they're all about making money. And when I started, when I told myself that I'm going to pursue this, it's for me, it's you have to make a living if you're going to do it full time, and you have to have some sort of income with it. But in the long run, it's not always about the money. It's about getting your voice out there and talking about your life, and you don't want to be a sellout, because that's with a lot of the artists. And I'm not going to be name dropping, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They started out writing good material, and they had great country songs, but the big leagues in Nashville decided, well, hey, let's take advantage of this, and we'll write songs that are going to be the same song played every day, about beer and trucks and all that one night stands and things like that people don't really relate to. It doesn't tell a story anymore, and it's the same thing. Every song is the same, just about, and it really irritated me. But what I told myself was that regardless whether or not if I make it into the industry, make it big, successful, I'm still going to play real country music to the day I die. And because I believe in everything that Merle did, and Waylon, they all, when they started out, they were doing real good, and then as the times went on, they were kicked out of country radio just because they wanted to do the real stuff, and nobody really cared for them. They wanted to hear the latest new thing that was out there, and but that's not me. I don't want to be a sellout or anything like that.
Well, that's good. And, those guys never did sell out and they never lost their fan base. Country music fans are very loyal. And once
Yeah.
you've got a fan, you got a fan for life. And, with today's technology, with the internet and everything like that, a lot of younger people are discovering the older country music. That stuff is going to be around forever. It's not going to go anywhere. And it's because of
Oh
the
yeah.
songs, and it's because of the real life experiences. I've quoted this many times, and my listeners know Freddie Hart is a dear friend of mine, and he summed up the whole thing so perfectly in just 4 words. He said it's country music is people put to music, and I just don't think there's any better way to say it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Well, you have a Reverb Nation page. You're also very active on Facebook and Instagram. You've also got a YouTube page, and we'll put those links on our Facebook page as well. And Brandon, I want to ask you about a couple songs, and I want to take a break and play a couple here, and then we'll come back and talk some more. Tell me about "It's a Hard Life That Was Meant for Me."
Well, really, that song there is very personable to me because, with my career in the military, I got to serve along some of the finest people I ever served with, that anyone could ever, serve with, whether it was working with the Marines or working with the Navy SEALs over in Southeast Asia. But the majority of my time I was serving on board a guided missile destroyer, the USS Kidd out of San Diego, is where I was stationed. And we did it was about 8 months overseas. And, that deployment, it had a lot of ups and downs. And I just remembered, looking back at, all those times out at sea, in the middle of the night, standing guard, and it could be, it can be very lonely out there. Even though we have over 300 people or so on board a ship, you still miss your families and all that, and it when you get 3 or 4 months in out of there, and that you're only halfway, you can start to lose sight of it. But I was thinking about this, writing something that people could connect to, that would be able to listen to something and to not lose sight of why you joined. Because, everybody has that when they first go in, they get that adrenaline to get out there, and a lot of them, they think that what they see on the ads, and you see the America's Navy ads where they have all the fighter jets and the SEALs and all the cool gadgets and stuff they got, but it's not all what you see. I mean, it's just like working a regular job, and but you can work sometimes from 6 o'clock in the morning and not get off until 6 o'clock the next day. I mean, it's a very hard life. So that song there really was something that I wanted my brothers and sisters to connect with and to help maybe get through another deployment or something like that.
Absolutely. And the same is true with country music. It's not all glitz and glam. There's a lot of work behind the scenes and a lot of things that people just never know about, and it can be very, very tough. It's very rewarding, but it can be very tough as well. Tell me about the song "You Heal My Heart Every Day."
Well, that one there is it's funny. Whenever I sing it at shows, I always say I'm going to sing it for my future ex-wife. I don't know, when it comes to relationships, it hadn't really always worked out for me, but I had, you never forget, like your first love or something like that, and I like to write songs about love and stuff, and because I see couples now that love nowadays is kind of hard to come around, and trying to find the person that you think you're supposed to be with, and and a lot of the times of the world have changed so much where that true love thing is kind of faded away. Just like country music, real country, it kind of lost its touch. And so I wanted to write this song just about true love. Somebody that has been through struggles, and have that person come into their life almost like an angel. And I think that song would connect, and maybe somebody can play it at their wedding or something.
It's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
Well, I want to take a break and play those two songs for my listeners. And what I really like about these recordings, you have not finished your album yet. These are acoustic, just you and your guitar, and I really like that because it gives listeners a chance to hear the artist the way that they really are. And what I mean by that is that there's no tricks, there's no, it's real deal. And that to me really makes an artist shine when they can do songs like this and make them just really sing and sound so beautiful with just you and a guitar. That's what an artist is all about.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to play those. This is Brandon Bamburg, and we're going to come back and talk to Brandon some more. And please visit him at Reverb Nation, and he's on Facebook and Instagram, and also has a YouTube channel. You can find those links on our Facebook page as well. Brandon Bamburg. We're going to come back and talk to him some more right after we play these songs as My Kind of Country continues.
This next song is called It's a Hard Life That Was Meant for Me, and this details a little bit of my time out at sea, and I'd like to dedicate this song to my brothers and sisters that I had the honor and privilege to serve with on board the USS Kidd. And this also goes out to the rest of the men and women that serve our great nation. I've been away from home now 115 days. I've had good times and bad times since I went away. I'm out here on the ocean, not a trace of land for 1,000 miles or more. And the beauty of this crazy life is that I know just what I do it for. I do it for the working man, just trying to pay the bills. I do it for the single moms with hungry mouths to fill. And even for the ones who have the right to wave their signs and disagree. This country's changed a lot through the years. It's not like it used to be. And I do it for the ones who died and gave the ultimate sacrifice. And I do it for my brothers lost at sea. I work all day and through the night. I do my job and I do it right. There's a lot of places I'd rather be. It's a hard life to live, but it's a hard life that was meant for me. And I do it for the ones who died and gave the ultimate sacrifice. And I do it for my brothers lost at sea. I work all day and through the night. I do my job and I do it right. There's a lot of places I'd rather be. It's a hard life to live, but it's a hard life that was meant for me. It's a hard life to live, but it's a hard life that was meant for me. I've been away from home now 116 days. Baby girl, you're so beautiful. You take my breath away. You make the stars shine bright at night. You heal my heart every day. This world is cold and it's taking its toll on me, but I promise you I will stay strong and carry on for you. That's what I'll do, 'cause I don't want to lose the best thing in my life. You're everything I need, and I will give you all my heart and soul. Just promise me one thing: don't leave me cold like all the rest before the pain was real. Please keep your faith in me when times are rough. I know you will. I've had a lot of failures in my life. So much has gone away, but I will never give up on you. Here's what I have to say. Baby girl, you're so beautiful. You take my breath away. You make the stars shine bright at night. You heal my heart every day. Baby girl, you're so beautiful. You take my breath away. You make the stars shine bright at night. You heal my heart every day.
All right, I'm Scott Weichel. You're listening to My Kind of Country. That is Brandon Bamburg with brand new music. And we've got Brandon talking with us today about his fantastic songs. And Brandon, you've got a bunch of tour dates coming up down in the Texas and Oklahoma area. Tell my listeners a little bit about some of these dates.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, this weekend I'm actually playing in Wiley, Texas, a place called the Wiley Opry. And then week after that, I'm playing in Red Oak, Texas. They have a country music venue there once a month, and a week after that I'll be in Oklahoma City at the Rodeo Opry in the Stockyards in Oklahoma City, and we've got a handful of other dates and that are coming up, a lot of out-of-town shows, and I've got a hometown show that's coming up on the 24th of August, and that's going to be at the San Jacinto Plaza, and the show's going to be at 6:30 p.m., and it's a free show for everybody to come out, and I'm going to be debuting a lot of my songs, and as a matter of fact, I have a song that I've written called Rockwall, Texas, USA, and that's one that I'm really excited to perform and to let my hometown friends and folks, come out and see it, and so we've got a lot of good dates coming up.
Oh, that's really cool. We've got a poster you sent to us. We'll put that on the Facebook page. And, folks, if you have a chance to go see Brandon, please do. He puts on a fantastic show. And if you like real country music, this is the guy to go see without a doubt. Brandon, tell me about the song, Who I Am Is All I'll Ever Be.
Well, that one there is, that's kind of, my outlaw kind of song that I wanted to write one that was kind of, after going into the military and being away from people that I grew up with, and I had hard times of my own, and I'm sure a lot of them did, others did, but you kind of lose, everybody's seems to be doing successful things, I grew up in, my hometown. It used to be a real small town, and a lot of, as the years went by, a lot of rich people came out, and so where I went to school growing up, there was, they had a lot of rich people there. Future doctors, lawyers, and all that. They kind of rub it in your face and things like that, and they kind of look down on the country folks and all that. So, I wanted to write something that, was like, that us country folks could connect to. It's like, doesn't matter what they're doing, just worry about who you are and continue to be yourself. And don't let others try to change you. Because there's a lot of that going on. So I wanted to write something just to say, like, this is who I am. I love real country music. I love my lifestyle, and if you just don't like it, you have to get away.
There you
That's
go.
all I'll ever be.
There you go. Tell me about the song "Take It From Me."
Well, "Take It From Me" it's another one of those personal songs that being in trying to get into the music industry, I had really had no idea how hard it would be. I knew to some extent, but when somebody is not really pursuing it, they really don't know how hard it is. And and I've had shows where they've been successful and they wanted me back, and I've had others that were like, no, we don't like that kind of music here. And just one time, I was actually kicked off a set, and I was playing the show at this local bar here in town, and I was playing Okie from Muskogee, all the good stuff, and the bar owner came up to me and said, "You got any of the newer stuff? This stuff ain't working here."
Really?
So I was like, "Well, I already told you, what I play." And he was like this big bouncer guy from New York, and when I told him traditional country music, he probably he didn't know what he meant by traditional country. And he was like, "Yeah, we only like the newer stuff here because we have younger crowds." And I was like, "Well, if you look at my tip jar, you'll see all the $20 bills that a party of 20-year-olds out there have been tipping." And so it was just him. He was being a butt about it. I kept playing my set, and he came back about 20 minutes later, and he's like, "Hey, man, what you doing? It ain't cutting it." So I just packed up my stuff and left. And I was supposed to play another 2 hours, and he paid me the money. But after that, it was a real disappointing moment at time. It was really just kind of starting out, and
That's when you have places like that. They aren't going to be there very long, because they're not listening to their crowds. They want what they want, and if they've got a crowd that likes what you're doing, if they turn that away, they ain't going to be there long. I had a band for about 25 years. We used to play throughout the Midwest, and we were in a club one night, and there was a group of college guys that came in, and I'm thinking, oh God, here we go, and the guy comes up to the stage, and I'm thinking, he wants to hear, Kenny Chesney or somebody, and he goes, "Man, do you know any Lefty Frizzell?" And I mean, that just about knocked me over, and I says, "Well, yeah." So we rattled off like 3 or 4 of them in a row, and the kid went and got a chair and came up and sat right in front of the stage and sang along with every one of those songs, and I thought,
wow,
there's hope for us yet.
Oh man, that's happened to me too. And I'd play some George Strait and some of the real good '80s stuff, Keith Whitley, and I had people come up and say, "Hey, you know any Merle Haggard?" I'm like, "Sure do. I know Merle Haggard. That's all I play pretty much." And so yeah. But anyway, so that moment there really kind of it was a real heartbreaking moment, but thankfully I had people like my mother and a good friend of mine named Fonda Quinn who just came out to my shows, time and time again to be one of my biggest supporters. And so whenever I was thinking about writing the song, it was about really when you're in the music field or just anywhere, and if you feel like you've let people down, or if you're going through hard times, never forget the ones that are always there.
Amen to
Ones that
that.
are never going to let you down. They're there with you through good times and bad times. So that's pretty much
for sure.
what the song touches on.
You are on the right track, and I tell you what, your music will always have a home on my station, and I'm very, very proud of what you're doing, and I'm looking forward to hearing your album when it's done. And folks, you mentioned you do a lot of Merle Haggard. There's a lot of great videos of Brandon on his YouTube channel. Check out some of those videos of him performing live, and if you get a chance to go and see him, please do. And Brandon, I'm going to play those other two songs that we were talking about for my listeners, and stay in touch with us, man, as you progress. We'd love to have you back on the show, and always happy to share your music with my listeners. And thank you so much for taking time to be on My Kind of Country.
God bless you, Scott, and thank you for having me.
I look back in time at all of the things that I've done. I've chased a lot of dreams, but I failed at every one. And old friends of mine, they laugh at me with their college degrees. I say good for them, but it sure hell ain't me. I'll tell you who I am in the lyrics of this song. I was born in a double wide with the soul of an outlaw. I love Merle, Waylon and Willie, and Johnny Cash and George Jones. Every song they wrote was country gold and inspired me to write a few of my own. I love to write songs about broken hearts, cold beer, and the Lone Star State. Ain't no place better than Texas, it's the home of King George Strait. I pay tribute to those that are overseas, serving old Uncle Sam. I've lived a crazy life, but it's just who I am. Who I am is all I'll ever be. You may try, but nobody's gonna change me. What you see is what you're gonna get. An underdog who's proud of where he's at. Now I'll always be a rambling man with a guitar in my hand, singing my songs from town to town in a one-piece band. I'm trying to make my mark in life one song at a time, because a life on the highway singing songs is all I've got in mind. Who I am is all I'll ever be. You may try, but nobody's gonna change me. What you see is what you're gonna get. An underdog who's proud of where he's at. What you see is what you're gonna get. An underdog who's proud of where he's at. Here I go again, traveling down this long, lonesome highway. I've got a show to play. The life I've lived hasn't made me rough, and the woman I loved, she had enough with me. It wasn't meant to be. I've lived a life. I sing about losing everything I love just because. And maybe someone can learn from me. It's not what you want, but what you need, my friend, till the very end. You need to hold on to the ones who care. Through thick and thin, they'll be there. Everyone's your friend when you reach the top, but when you make that sudden drop, they leave. Just take it from me. It's a cruel world when you're trying so hard to be the next big star and show who you are. Never look at the empty seats, 'cause the people there, they want to see me play, and it makes my day. Yeah. You need to hold on to the ones who care. And through thick thin, they'll be there. Everyone's your friend when you reach the top, but when you make that sudden drop, they leave. Just take it from me. Better hold on to the ones who care, 'cause when you fail, they'll be right there, you see. Just take it from me. Take it from me. Take it from me. Take it from me.